fish.
Nice fish. Right now is the spawn time. The males, most of these are males that have moved up. The females, most of the females haven't moved up yet. But they're moving up in that 2 to 3 foot range of water, making their beds, and they're just kind of scattered all up and down these banks. And they're doing about the same thing on every lake right now. Tin Killer, Oologah, they're all in about the same situation. Water temperature is about the same. Your best water temperature for spawn, for crappie especially, that water needs to get up around 67 to 70 degrees. It seems like it's when, every year when their females move in, when it stays constant at that 67 to 70 degree range, that's when those crappie will move in. So what we're doing is using a little bobber, little cork, setting it about 18 inches deep to 2 foot deep, because that's where they're going to be. We're trying to cast it up on the bank and get it up to just to where the cork won't set up. And then when we get it just to where it will set up, now we're at that magic depth, and most of your fish are going to come right in there where it is now, right where it first starts setting up. So that way we're timing it to where we're going to be in about 2 to 3 foot of water, and we're going to keep it there as long as we can. 2 to 3 foot range, most of them. Look that one. Ah, missed him. In that time. Nice crappie. And a glacier baby shell. Once you get outside that depth range, usually I just pull it on in because I'm usually not going to get many bites when it gets out there deeper. Very important on crappie bites, every time, it may just be a teeny little tiny peck, is all you'll see, just a little tick like that. If he bobs it that one time, you want to set the hook every time because he's going to suck it in, he's going to spit it back out. And usually they're not going to hang on to it. Most of your bites are going to suck it in and spit it back out. So when you see that little pop, it's when he's got it in, so be quick, be ready to jerk right at that point. And you'll catch a lot more fish. If you're going to wait till it goes under the water every time, you're going to miss a lot of fish, miss a lot of chances. So you got to be ready. You know, you can catch fish fishing any of this stuff, but if you really want to catch more fish and get the most amount of bites you can get, then you got to rig right. Because some of your rigging can make a difference in how many bites you're getting. And I was telling you a while ago, when you're rigging your cork, if you're fishing it this way, I never hook the top in this top ring right here. I never hook it on that. I just put a double wrap on the little spring right there at the bottom of it, and it won't go anywhere. It'll stay just where you're supposed to. It doesn't hurt your line. If I'm minnow fishing, that's fine. But for what I'm doing right here, I want it only on the bottom, because if it's hooked up here, I'm going to miss all those where it tips it upside down or the way it moves, because every time I pull it, it's going to pull my cork over and it's going to make it do funny. So I'm going to miss a lot of bites. I'm not going to detect a lot of bites if I don't rig it like I have it. And I nearly always fish the bobber style like this, a little round cork, when I'm doing the bank fishing like this, because of how it's easier to detect all the little bites that I'm getting. And light line, I like really light line, because a light line, those are real small little jigs. And if you don't use, say, a 6 pound or lighter on those, then your line kind of kinks and curls up, and you're going to, a fish will bite it and pull the kinks out of it, and you don't even see you're getting a bite. It's too stiff for those little tiny jigs, so you should always use really, say, 6 pound or lighter when you're using like a 32nd, 16th ounce jig like that, because it can also make a difference in how many bites you get. When you're tying these jigs on, it's best to use a loop knot so that your crappie jig hangs free. To do that, just double your line, like I did right there, tie a loop, run your jig through that loop. And what I like to do is hold the jig head and the loop together and then pull it down so that I only have a small loop. See, now I only have a small loop on there. And then you cut off your tag end, you're ready to go. Range. And then right now is the time that you just kind of have to keep them moving and covering water, because they're just going to be kind of scattered, just like the bass do. They're just going to make beds here and there all up and down this bank. But it's really a lot of fun, and there, in any little cove just about, there's going to be some on the bank. You can kind of go find some. Great time to fish, great fun fishing. and catch some nice crappie.